Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday afternoon, May the 23rd, 2021. I hope everyone is safe and doing as well as possible. We made it through another week, and we got one more week left in May, a week and a day. And I'd like to welcome everyone to the show today. This will be my weekly climate update that I'll be putting on YouTube for everyone. We're going to change up the order a little bit today. There's so much news about what's going on in the world. First of all, I'm starting off, this is on spaceweather.com. This huge sunspot continuously erupted, about 10 M-class flares, and so we've got CMEs headed towards the Earth right now. But look at that, isn't that something? So that's what the sun looks like right now. So that's, it's rare to see it like that. But here's a video of the stream coming out from this sunspot. The CME coming out. This is on spaceweather.com. Here is the sunspot that's erupting, 2824. It's that guy there. It's the only one that we've got right now, but it's making up for things. So here's what space weather says: solar flare frenzy in CME. Yesterday, May 22nd, sunspot AR2824 unleashed a sequence of solar flares unlike anything we've seen in years. In only 24 hours, NASA's Solar Dynamic Observatory recorded 10 C flares. Oh, I thought they were all M's, and 2 M flares. The rapid explosions hurled multiple overlapping CMEs into space. According to NOAA models, at least one of them will graze Earth's magnetic field on May 25th to 26th. The impact of the CME's dense flank could spark G1 class geomagnetic storms and auroras. So let's watch their movie here. This was what was happening yesterday. And I couldn't sleep last night. It was one of those nights. I got about, 4 hours of sleep, but this is probably why. And so solar activity will set off earthquakes and volcanoes and things like that here on the Earth, which we are seeing. We're seeing a lot of that. And then it says, huge solar radio burst during yesterday's frenzy. The sun emitted a shortwave radio burst so loud that it drowned out lightning static from a severe local thunderstorm. So if you want to hear that, you can go to spaceweather.com and click on that and hear the radio burst. And that's what it looked like. So there's that. The next thing that's happening is, I'll get to that iceberg in a minute, is we've got a volcano going off in Africa, the Nyiragongo volcano, and we've got earthquakes over there too. Now this started going off a couple of days ago, and it's near Goma. It's in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. I'll show you where it is. Right down here, and see the earthquake. Well, now we've got 2. We only had 1. when I took my pictures this morning. But so here's Rwanda, and then to the west is the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and the volcano is, here's Goma right down here. The volcano is right there. It's huge. It takes up this whole plain here. And the lava was flowing so fast, and it got all the way to the airport here at Goma. They had to evacuate people, and I don't know what all. But and so see, now we've got earthquakes. We've got a 4.3 over here in Rwanda, and then we had a 4.5 by Gisenya. That came in at 1:38 this afternoon. So the earth is shaking. I mean, stuff is happening. And see, we've got Arctic earthquakes, we've got Antarctic earthquakes, we've got, look at this new one just came in by Panama. So lots of stuff. Now here on Volcano Discovery, they talk about the earthquake, the volcano at Nyiragongo. Lava flow reported to have come to a halt in northeastern suburb. And hope for Goma, and good news as eruption reported subsiding in intensity. Here are pictures where it's going all the way to the airport. Here's a video. Lava flows reach Goma City. Let's watch that. Oh, those are just pictures. That's not a video. But these are, see that, here's the airport down here. Look at that. And apparently the lava is real thin, and I mean it's thinner than most lava, and so it's flowing really fast. So it was flowing about 60 miles an hour coming down the valley there. Look at that. So it would be hard to get out of the way of that. So those are pictures there. So here are all the posts about it here on Volcano Discovery. But it's slowing down. See, these are the older posts. But it's still erupting. So there's that. So I showed the space weather. This is solar flares. I showed the volcano. Next is, we had an iceberg break off in the Antarctic in the Weddell Sea. This broke off around the 19th. This is from a whole bunch of places reported on it. I chose livescience.com. World's largest iceberg breaks off of Antarctica. This was put up 4 days ago. The giant berg is roughly 1,700 square miles. And here's what it looks like. This is the Weddell Sea up here. This is the ice shelf. And to the west here is the Antarctic Peninsula. So it's long and thin. So it says, an enormous iceberg, a little bigger than the state of Rhode Island, has broken off of Antarctica. The finger-shaped chunk of ice, which is roughly 105 miles long and 15 miles wide, and that's 170 kilometers long and 25 kilometers wide, was spotted by satellites as it calved from the western side of Antarctica's Ronne Ice Shelf. The berg is now floating freely on the Weddell Sea, a large bay in the western Antarctic where explorer Ernest Shackleton once lost his ship, the Endurance, to pack ice. And it's now the world's biggest and has been called A76. So we had A68 and it finally broke up in April. Finally, it went away after, 3 or 4 years. Now we've got this one to start tracking, A76. Because the ice shelf that this berg calved from was already floating on water, the event won't directly impact sea levels. However, ice shelves help to slow the flow of glaciers and ice streams into the sea, so indirectly the loss of parts of an ice shelf eventually contributes to rising seas. So there's that. Now I'll show you, where's NASA World View? Oh, we'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to Arctic sea ice in a minute. I'm going to show you real quick. This is what it looks like in the Antarctic. See, it's dark down there. But if we turn on this nighttime layer, it just depends on what you're trying to see. Sometimes this layer can work really well. So it's a little cloudy down there today. Here we are. I'm a little lost here. I know I saw this earlier. Let's go back to, oh, it's right down in here. Right here. Here we go. You see? See that? There it is. This is the iceberg A76. There it is on the 19th. Here it was on the 16th. It was starting to calve here. Now before that, it was actually starting a little bit before that. Here's the 14th. Now there's the 13th. It hadn't come off yet. The 12th, this is a good view. Here's the ice shelf. This is the Weddell Sea here. Now that's open water where the ice is coming up to the ice shelf. So here it is the 13th. We can't really tell. Here on the 14th, you can see the break coming along there. Here's the 15th. You can see it all the way across. 16th, 17th, probably cloudy there. 18th. Here it is on the 19th. This is a good view. See? It's pulled away. There's the 20th, 21st, 22nd, yesterday. Now we're looking through some clouds, but you can see the berg there. Now this is covered with a cloud here. So if we go back a month ago, turn off this layer just so you can see where it is. Uh-oh, that's the wrong one. Let's I'm trying to get back while it was still in the sunlight. See, it's right down. See, here's the Antarctic. There's the Western Peninsula. The Ronne Ice Shelf is over here on the right. And then this whole area is the Weddell Sea. This area is the Weddell Ice Shelf. So the area that it broke off from is this western edge. It's right along here. This area is where it broke off. See, it was intact here. This is March. And here we are today. And I wanted to show you an update on the iceberg. This broke off of the Ronne ice sheet. Remember that? Remember that? That broke off right before the sun went down. This big piece. Well, it's still here. And I thought I saw it breaking up. Oh, I'm lost. It's right. Sorry. That's not it. It's up here. It's right here. Some of these look pretty a lot alike. So here's the little half moon for the Ronne Ice Shelf. Here, see this? And this whole area broke off, and now it's breaking up. Here it is today. That's a pretty good view. And look at all the open water around there. I would think that that would already be refrozen, but it's not. So there's a lot of open water here, but we can see that's breaking up. But these icebergs will not go out to sea anytime soon because there's a lot of ice in the Weddell Sea, and so they'll be icebound, especially during the winter. And unless all that ice melts in the summertime, then they won't be going out to sea anytime soon. So I wanted to show you that. So that's all of the news I had to begin with. Now let's go on with our report. So we're going to start off with methane data for NOAA. This is for yesterday, the 22nd. This is the 477/469 millibar reading. This is the MET-OP1 satellite in the morning. The mean or average was 1903 parts per billion, and the high reading was 2301. Now see the pink showing up down in the South Atlantic here. Next to the Antarctic. Now, where that iceberg broke off, there had been a big warming down there, and in the last couple of weeks we had seen red down there on Climate Reanalyzer on the 2-meter temperature anomaly. In the afternoon, the mean was 1902 and the high reading was 2403. On the MET-OP2 satellite, in the morning, the mean was 1883, The high reading was 2327, and in the afternoon the mean was 1883 and the high reading was 2279. Here's the spreadsheet and chart where I'm tracking all of this. So it averages out for the 22nd to be 1892.75 parts per billion. That's a decrease over the week before of 3.25 parts per billion. So see the blue line going down here. So I'm not surprised that we're seeing it decrease in May. We got a late start. The lowest the methane level was at, we didn't hit that until January of this year, and before we hit that in December. So we're about a month, running a month late on these trends here. And so this month it's been going down. Well, on May 1st it went up 0.75 for that week, but overall this month it's been going down. We're still 14.75 parts per billion higher than we were a year ago, and since March the 1st of 2019 we're 35.5 parts per billion higher, and this is where I started charting all of it. Now we can see here what it did daily this week. On the 15th, this was what we saw in the show last week. It was 1896. And then on Sunday, it went up 1.25. Monday went down 0.5. Tuesday went up 0.75. Wednesday down 0.25. Thursday down 1.75. Friday down 1.5. And Saturday down 1.25, giving us an overall decrease of 3.25 this week. And we can look back. I started tracking all of this on a daily basis last year, in February of last year. So here, on the 22nd of May last year, it was 1878 parts per billion. And see, it was up and down there. I mean, it just does that. It's back and forth. It's not a continuous rise or a continuous fall. And see, here on the 30th, that was the weekly. It went down that week 2.5. But then the first week in June, it went up 4.25. So we'll just see what happens. And if you'd like to see videos more often than just once a week, I'd like to invite you to join us on my Subscribe page. I do updates during the week and show what's going on with methane and earthquakes and all the different climate things. Before we go to CAMS, I'll show you what's going on. This is sulfur dioxide today from CAMS. Here's a big release here off the coast of South America. We've been seeing a lot coming up here. Now there are volcanoes all along here, but there's also a lot of plate movement. We also have a big release. This has been coming up around the Iceland area for about 2 weeks now. So we have another big release here. today. Now there's the Iceland volcano still going off too. And we're just seeing a little bit come up here from that volcano in Africa. So you never know what's going to be a big sulfur dioxide release. I would think that volcano would be, but it's not right now. Right now, now this is at 500 HPA where it just shoots up in the atmosphere. We've got a high reading here off the coast of Ecuador, and then look at this around, here's Iceland, and here it swoops up over Greenland. So I think this is a combo plate of the volcano and the plate. There's a tectonic plate that moves through there. We're seeing earthquakes on this plate line, so I think the sulfur dioxide must be being released, you know, in that tectonic plate. We're also seeing this higher reading here in Russia. I don't know what that's about. Here's a close-up. This is that Nyiragongo volcano from the airport. This is the airport down here. Here's a close-up of this is that A76 iceberg. That's the picture from the article that I shared. And that's all of those. Now we'll move on to the CAMS data. This is from Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Services. They're out of the EU. We're going to look at methane for Saturday the 22nd. I had the Arctic view and surface level pulled up. There's our color ledger. Now, even though overall methane has gone down this week, we've got areas that are billowing very high levels. Billowing. And it's increasing in some levels, but overall, I mean in some places, but overall it's gone down worldwide this week. Now the data is for Saturday, and the forecast period is Sunday through Wednesday. So overall we're seeing some blues rather than just solid green. When we see the solid green, that's when methane is really on the rise. But when you start seeing blues come in, that's the first sign that methane has gone down a little bit. It's still billowing here by Komsomolets. I don't know why. No one can give me that answer, but it is. It's also coming up here in the North Sea and off the coast of Norway. It's coming back to life all the way through the Scandinavian countries, Norway, Sweden, and Finland. It's still coming up on the north coast of Alaska. Now we've got a new area down here in southern Alaska, and this is typical as we go into the summer, spring and summer, that Alaska will start seeing methane filling up from Alaska, because as this heats up, then they've got lots of methane. They've got permafrost, and they've got it's volcanic and lots of earthquakes, and so they've just got a lot of areas that will be emitting methane. So we're seeing the start of it here. Now we'll go to the North Pole view. We can see the whole northern hemisphere from this view. So here's the UK, Ireland, here's Europe, here's Spain. Down here is Northern Africa. Down here, this is Italy, right down here. Here's the Persian Gulf. Here's India. See, it's streaming out. See, it's coming across the coastline, streaming out here in in the Indian Ocean there. Here's China, and here's Korea. See, that's filled up. Japan is filled up. See, it's streaming out across the coast in the water. See, from China too. And here in North America, see this wave coming off. That's a sign of higher methane. And see, some days you'll see it just filling up. See, like right there from the Great Lakes south. That's from the rain that they've had. And then this East Coast is usually pretty solid with that dark color. But overall we're seeing less green. Now the green, if we look at the chart here, that dark green is 1920 parts per billion. So when you start seeing the blues, it's going down. That first blue color is 1900. Now we'll look at the global view. Let's see, in the southern hemisphere, here's a little tiny wisp of purplish. That's 1780 parts per billion, but it's mainly this dark blue now since methane started coming back up, and that's 1800. But we'll see, as methane rises, we'll see these lighter colors drift in further south. There's that. Now let's look at 500 HPA. So this is about the same level as what we look at the NOAA data with. Look at this dark cloud. This had come off of China, and now it's in the Pacific, and it will dissipate as it's coming across. Got a higher reading here in the Atlantic, southern part of the Atlantic, and also here just west of Australia. And greens, we've got greens all the way to the bottom of the picture now. Let's see how the reds spread out over the Arctic. Here's total column. So we still have the highest readings here over China, northern India, and then the next color is this red-orange. That's the next color down. So that's what we've got there. Now, let's move on to sea ice. We'll go through our slideshow. I took these pictures from Climate Reanalyzer. Here we are today with sea ice and snow cover. Again, you're not going to see dramatic changes yet. The big melting hasn't kicked in to where you'll see big holes opening up yet. Mainly you'll see around the edges, around the coastlines, where it's thinning or open water now. And we can see up here along the coast of Russia in the Okhotsk Sea, that's pretty much cleared out. It's clearing out here in the southern part of the Baffin Bay as well. Here we were last Sunday, the 16th, when I did the show. So you can see more ice here in the Bering Sea and up here along the coast of Russia. So we'll click through and you'll see the changes. So here was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So overall, you can see the decrease happening also on the lands. The white is snow, and so that's decreasing. That's melting as well as we warm up. Next, we'll go through the Navy data. This is from the U.S. Navy website. This is sea ice thickness for the Arctic for today. Here's the color ledger on the right. This dark purple is about 1 meter thick, and then the aqua is about 2 meters thick. The green is about 3 meters thick, and then this bright red is about 4.5 meters thick. So if we zoom in, and I've named these quadrants 1, 2, 3, and 4 so that we can keep track of them a little bit easier. Now here in quadrant 2, this is Novaya Zemlya, all Russia. Russia's on this top side, and we can see a lot of melting has gone on here, and this quadrant 2 will clear out pretty fast. And see the thinning, see the dark blue coming in, that's thinner. And we've got a hole opening up here just north of the North Pole. This is in quadrant 1, and then just to the right of that we've got a thinning, so that will be a hole opening up too. It's also opened up here on this left side of Severnaya Zemlya, and this is the Kara Sea and around the coastlines, and we can see open water has started to come in. Here in quadrant 4, this is the Beaufort Sea, and the thickest sea ice has made its way down here in the Beaufort Sea over the winter, and so here's where it is, but it's come away from the coastline. We've got open water along Alaska and Canada, and here Alaska, that's opened up. Here's the Bering Strait, just a little fringe of ice there. And then we saw quadrant 1, and then quadrant 3. This is Greenland. And so we've got some thicker ice along the coastline of Greenland, and but here in the nearest strait, that's melting. We can see it's opened up. This opened up early on in the year on this northwest edge. Baffin Bay is thinning out. The Hudson Bay, we can see that's thinning out pretty quickly. We're starting to see some purples here in this Canadian archipelago rather than aquas, so that's the thickness, the ice is melting there. That's kind of what we got. Oh, and down here around Greenland, around the southern tip, that's almost all gone now. Here's the 30-day animation. It goes back 3 weeks from the 22nd, and then the forecast period goes out to the 29th, or next Saturday. So let's zoom in and see what the model says is going to happen. Wow, you see this opening up here in quadrant 2? Watch this. There's going to be open water here soon, I would say. And well, we'll see pieces of open water, but we'll be seeing huge areas of open water there within a couple of weeks, it looks like. This is Franz Josef Land, and here's Svalbard. And so that's in quadrant 2. And we'll be seeing just general thinning overall too. And it's coming away from the coastlines. It's also going to be thinning. Watch here in the Laptev Sea, right there, see? And then here in the Beaufort Sea. That's gonna be tossed around pretty good. Here in the Baffin Bay, see, that's going to be clearing out a lot. Here in the Hudson Bay, and here's the Bering Strait. See, that'll be pretty much ice-free in a week right there. And then up here in the Okhotsk Sea, that's almost all gone up there. Now this is the Beaufort Sea. And this is sea ice thickness. Canada is here on the right. Alaska is down here. This white is where it's already opened up. It's open water here and along the coastline. Now we've got just a little fringe of thicker ice up into the dark red, reddish, brownish, blackish color. That's up to 5 meters thick right along the coastline there. And see, it's cleared out here on this west side of Alaska. And we've got some, this is about 3 meters thick here. A little bit of yellow down here, which is about 3.75 meters thick here. So this is what's left of the thickest sea ice, the multi-year ice, right in here. Hard to believe, isn't it? And here's the 30-day animation. So it goes back 3 weeks with the data, and then it forecasts out a week, well, to the 29th, or next Saturday. And where you see the lines, those are the leads opening up. Now this is the lead area opening rate. So this is, I went ahead and just got the 30-day animation on this. Here you are today. So we can see it's opening a lot around the coastlines. See, that's where the most of the action is, but watch. Look at tomorrow. Look at, that's because of the ice drift will be pulling it around. So whenever you get it opening like that, it pulls it apart. And then it's easier for it to start melting. Look at, there's the 25th. That looks like some kind of weird, bizarre, abstract painting to me. Here's the 26th, look at that. So that sea ice is going to be tossed around this week a lot. Here's the 27th, here's the 28th, and the 29th. Now here's the ice drift, 30-day animation. This shows the directions and the speed, and it goes up to 30 centimeters per second, the darkest up there. Here it, oh, I thought I'd stopped it. Here it is a week, here it is on the 29th. Let's go back. Here we are today. So we've got a lot of movement on the ice drift today coming up from Alaska. So it's pushing it up north. Look at tomorrow. And here it is on the 25th, and now the arrows are shifting, moving it down. So see, so here the gyre starts going, and it starts going in this counterclockwise direction. And here it's moving. You see, it's like a little cyclone thing moving. So the ice will get torn apart from this. And then it picks up, it switches directions again here by the 27th. See, and now it's going back clockwise. 28th, 29th, and it's pretty quiet there, but that's what we've got there. Here's the Baffin Bay. So here's Greenland on the right and Canada on the left. This is about halfway up in the Baffin Bay. So from the model here, we can see it's really thinning out here along Canada and in these cubby holes. Now here's sea surface temperature in the Baffin Bay. So we can see the temperatures rising as it's coming up from the Atlantic there. This goes up to 4C here. Now, hopping down to the Antarctic, here's sea ice thickness for today. So the iceberg broke off right along here, just next to where the peninsula goes out, right in here. Here's the 30-day animation. Goes through the 29th. Now the Antarctic ice started refreezing early, but it's kind of leveling off. You'll see when we look at the National Snow and Ice Data Center. There's that. That's all of those. Now, next we'll go to Sea Ice Index. This is from the National Snow and Ice Data Center. This is the Arctic view, and we've got concentration turned on. The more blue it is, the less concentrated it is, or the thinner and more broken up it is. So we can see this reflects what we saw on the Navy website too, where it's really starting to thin out on the edges here especially. See the blues here. Look at the Hudson Bay. See, here's the graph for Arctic sea ice extent. Now the blue line is this year, the dotted line is 2012, this dark gray line is the 1981 to 2010 average. Now we're still below all of the other levels for this time of year, and it's still going down. It looks like it didn't go straight down this week, but it's still going down. Here's the Antarctic. The same thing with the blues. See, it's not very thick. Here's the graph for the extent. This blue line is this year, the dark gray line is last year, and this light gray line is the median or average for 1981 to 2010. So see down here, end of February, 1st of March is where it jumped up, and then it's running parallel with the refreeze, and it's about at the median right now. And I'm also going to be tracking the Greenland ice sheet. This is also on National Snow and Ice Data Center. We can see the salmon color shows where it's melting right now. So there, the ice sheet is melting up here on this eastern, kind of northern eastern side on the 22nd. So it's a day before. Looks like that's all I see on melting right now. Here are the number of melt days this year, starting in January. We can see the blues, see around all of the edges here, and then up here where we saw the salmon color. Here's melt extent. The red line is this year. This blue dotted line is the median. Now we jumped up in April and then it went flatline, and here we are in May, and looks like it went up just a tiny bit there, but it's about average with the median right now. There's that. Now let's tour through Climate Reanalyzer next. Here are the maximum temperatures for today. Now we can see that we've got warmer air coming in to the Arctic, but we also have a lot of warm air over Russia. Here it is worldwide. Here's 2-meter temperature anomaly. See, we've got browns over the Arctic Ocean, and we've got reds and browns over a lot of Russia here. So those reds, like this red, is about 16 to 18 C higher than normal. Now these browns, like that darker brown, that's about 8 C, 8 to 10 C higher than normal. I see all the blues mixed in, and the jet stream is broken. That's why this cold air is just swooping down. Now here in the Antarctic, this is by the Ronne Ice Shelf. That's in the red zone. Worldwide, we're up 0.1 C higher than normal. Northern Hemisphere is up 0.5 C. The Arctic is up 1.2 C. The Antarctic is at lower than normal by 3.3 C. Southern Hemisphere is minus 0.2 C, and the tropics are up 0.3 C higher than normal. Here's precipitation and clouds, and so we've got rain here in Russia. So where you see that rain, there's lots of permafrost up there, and that will cause that permafrost to start thawing. And when that happens, then we've got methane and carbon coming up. Here's the jet pieces today. I don't call it a jet stream anymore because it's all broken. See? So you can see how that cold air would just swoop down. It's not being held up there. And look at this southern hemisphere. It's craziness. And it's just going to get worse. We saw sea ice and snow cover. Here's sea surface temperature anomaly. This is as of yesterday. Now we're getting browns, deeper browns here in the Barents Sea. This is by the Kola Peninsula. And we've got browns up into the reds here in the Baffin Bay and around Greenland. And we're getting higher readings on this east coast of the US and Canada. And see the Great Lakes, they're getting up into the red zone. Here in the Caspian Sea, it's red and brown. Persian Gulf, it's red and brown. We've got reds around Japan, and then see the browns. And here from South America over to the southern part of Africa, that's higher. And we've got this blob. A lot of times this turns into a big red blob here in the Pacific in the summertime, so we'll see if that happens. Worldwide, we're up 0.3 C higher than normal. The Northern Hemisphere and North Pacific are up 0.5 C. North Atlantic is up 0.4 C. Southern Hemisphere is up 0.3 C. And the Equatorial Pacific is balanced out between the blues and the browns. Now we'll go on over to tour NASA Worldview and look at the sea ice. I just turned on the sea ice concentration layer. Now with this layer we can see where the melt is going on. So here we are in the Arctic. Look at this line across the Hudson Bay. We saw that on National Snow and Ice Data Center. We saw this in the dark blue, so that's coming apart there. See all of this in high melt here in the Baffin Bay. Here's this hole that's already opened up by this northwest edge of Greenland. Here's the nearest strait there. And here on the east side of Greenland, you can see that's melting there. Here's this hole on this northeast edge of Greenland. Here, it's from Svalbard up through Franz Josef Land. Now we've got open water. A lot of this is open water here, where you don't see any colors. That's open water. That's a cloud you're seeing there. Now, see this Kara Sea, that's melting pretty good. Here's Severnae Zemlya. See, this is opened up. That's open. Here's the Laptev Sea. See, that's opening up. This is open water along here. And up here on the Siberia coast, that's opened up there. Here's the Bering Strait. That's in high melt. Here. Now, look at Alaska. This is in this Beaufort Sea. This is breaking up. We've got open water here along the coastline, and in this bay here. And then see these colors in this archipelago. That's where it's melting. So, and see, it's coming apart all the way across now. So let's turn that layer off and just look at it through the satellite. Let's start down here on this northwest edge of Greenland. So we've got open water here. These white areas, these are clouds. Here's the nearest strait. can't really see what's going on with the ice here. Here's some open water along that coastline. See, this is just a fringe, and then the pieces here. See, there's open water. See, over here, that's open water there. Here's the Baffin Bay. This is a good view today. No clouds to speak of. Just a few clouds. Now we got clouds down here. Here's Greenland. Here's Iceland. We've got earthquakes. We've got a couple of earthquakes. One down here today. We had another new one up here by Svalbard just before I started. Right up here, see? We've been having a lot of earthquakes. About every day or every other day we've had something up here. Let's go back. So here's Svalbard, and here's the east side of Greenland. See, there's open water. So the area that was melting that we saw on National Snow and Ice Data Center was right up here. Right up here. See that? Well, this area. So here's this eastern edge of the ice there. We're looking through clouds there. Wanted to show oh look, this is north of Greenland. Here's the ice. See? Let's go. So here's Svalbard. There's a fringe of ice over on this right side. Here is Franz Josef Land. Now this is open on this right side. That's open water. See? A few pieces of ice over here. Here's Novaya Zemlya. So this is opened up. There's really not any ice along here. Here's the Kara Sea, and here's this is the Yamal Peninsula, Gulf of Ob. Let me show you. So here's a better picture a couple of days ago. See, that's all opened up along the coastline. So it just depends on the day as to how many clouds you have to look through. Okay, so here's Severnaya Zemlya. This island here is Komsomolets. So this area, just below that on the picture, is where the methane is billowing. and has been for a year and a half now. See? That's coming apart pretty fast. Here, there's some open water. This is open water here. That's opened up. That's open. I'd like to be able to just take the clouds away and see. Well, we could do that on blue marble. I kind of like looking like this though. Look at this. Here's the Laptev Sea. This was on the 18th. See, look at all that open water. So that's coming apart. Look at this. Here's the New Siberian Islands. Here's the East Siberian Arctic Shelf. Let's go back. So here we are today. Here's the Bering Strait. See, there's hardly any ice there. So this is open here around Alaska, and here that's open. This is open. See, look at this. This is this is the Amundsen Gulf here. Look at that. That's melting quickly. See, this is the Beaufort Sea. See, that's coming apart. And here's Canada. Here's Ellesmere Island. And then we're back to Greenland. Wanted to see if we go to blue marble. Oh, I forgot. So that takes everything away, so we don't want that layer. So that's what we've got. Now we'll go over earthquakes. I took these pictures earlier today. There were 259 worldwide. All magnitudes here. The lower 48 we had 157. Southern California had 27. Searles Valley Ridgecrest had 17. The largest one was at 2.1 near Trona. Here in western Nevada over to Mammoth Lakes there were 33. This is northwest of Reno, near Portola, California. There are 8 in this picture, so it's clustering, kind of swarming almost at Lake Davis. The largest one was a 3.1. A lot of these are at a negative depth, Like this 3.1 is at a negative 2.1 kilometer depth, showing that the magma is coming up in the mountain and it's coming up and causing earthquake. Here's one at 0 depth. So we've got twos, mainly twos, 2.8, and then that 3.1. So that's rocking away there. The geysers had 35 today. This is a 2.8 off the coast of Petrolia, just next to that San Andreas fault line and the Juan de Fuca plate. Here in the Pacific Northwest over to Yellowstone we're 14, and see most of them are here along this Cascadia zone. So that's showing a lot of movement there. West Texas only had one, a 3.0, south of Guadalupe Pass. Oklahoma had 19. Now here's a close-up of Quinton, Oklahoma, where they had 17 all stacked up, and the largest one was a 3.2. So they're getting bigger, and then they're getting more as well. So that's swarming there. Here is a 4.4 just south of Iceland and southeast of Greenland. See, it's on the red line, the tectonic plate line. Then on the south end of the Atlantic we had a 5.3 in the South Sandwich Islands region. Puerto Rico had 7 here today. Around this Cocos plate were 4. The largest was a 4.5. South America had 5 today. 4.2 up to a 4.9. Hawaii had 28 today. The largest was that 3.4 on the flank of Kilauea. No, 3.6, sorry. So there was a 3.4 and a 3.6 there. Alaska had 39. That's a lower number than we normally see. Now this is around Japan. There were 3 here. 4.3 here in the Kuril Islands. That's Russia land, but just northeast of Hokkaido. And then a 4.1 in the Mariana Islands region, and then a 4.4 at Akita, Japan, on the west side of the island. South Pacific, we're looking at 5 here. 4.7 Vanuatu, 4.5 Fiji, 552 kilometers deep. 5.0 Tonga, 4.7 Kermadec Islands, 4.4 Fiji, 522 kilometers deep. Then in Indonesia up to the Philippines we've got 6 here. 4.6 Papua, Indonesia, 5.5 Pandaguitan, Philippines, 5.0 Labuan, Indonesia, 5.2, 4.6, same place, and a 5.1 at St. Nicholas. A lot of activity there. Then in China, of course, they had, what was that, a 7.3 or something up here, where it's still, we've got aftershocks. This was 2 or 3 days ago. There was a 7.3 on the Tibetan Plateau. Anyway, we've got 3 here. We've got a 4.3 near Yoripak, India, and then 2 4.1s at Qinghai, China. Here is that 4.3 in Rwanda, just next to Goma, where we saw the volcano. I already showed this. And this came in today at 9:52 this morning. So that's all of those. So we had, we've got a lot of stuff going on. Now, if we look at the website, here, so we saw this one, Iceland. So here's a new one that came in this afternoon, a 4.5 in the Norwegian Sea. This came in at 3:14 this afternoon on these tectonic plate lines. So we saw that sulfur dioxide around here. So I think that's from plate movement, well, along with the earthquake, the volcano up there. This one is new. It's 5.1 near Masachapa, Nicaragua. This came in this afternoon at 3:57. So, just rocking along. Here's a new one. .5 near Joshimath, India. It's in the Himalayas. And then down here at Goma, look. Now we've got 3 here. So we had 1 when I took the picture, and now we've got a 4.5 and a 4.2 on the same area. That's not stopping. So there's my report for this week. So I'll finish up by reading out of the Bible. We're in 1 Corinthians. These are Paul's letters to the Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 12. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. Wherefore I give you to understand that no man speaking by the Spirit of God calleth Jesus accursed, and that no man can say that Jesus is the Lord, but by the Holy Ghost. Now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit, and there are differences of administrations, but the same Lord. And there are diversities of operations, but is the same God, which worketh all in all. But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal. For to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another the gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, to another diverse kinds of tongues, to another the interpretation of tongues. But all of these worketh that one and the selfsame Spirit, dividing to each man severally as he will. For as the body is one, and hath many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Christ. For by one Spirit are we all baptized into one body, whether we be Jews or Gentiles, whether we be bond or free, and have been all made to drink into one spirit. For the body is not one member, but many. If the foot shall say, Because I am not the hand, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? And if the ear shall say, Because I am not the eye, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? If the whole body were an eye, where were the hearing? If the whole were hearing, where were the smelling? But now hath God set the members every one of them in the body, as it hath pleased him. And if they were all one member, where were the body? But now were they many members, yet but one body. And the eye cannot say unto the hand, I have no need of thee, nor again the head to the feet, I have no need of you. Nay, much more those members of the body, which seem to be more feeble, are necessary. And those members of the body, which we think to be less honorable, upon these we bestow more abundant honor. And our uncomely parts have more abundant comeliness. For our comely parts have no need, but God hath tempered the body together, having given more abundant honor to that part which lacked, that there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care one for another. And whether one member suffer, all the members suffer with it, or one member be honored, all the members rejoice with it. Now ye are the body of Christ, and members in particular. And God hath set some in the church, first apostles, secondarily prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healings, helps, governments, diversities of tongues. Are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Are all workers of miracles? Have all the gifts of healing? Do all speak with tongues? Do all interpret? But covet earnestly the best gifts, and yet shew I unto you a more excellent way. 1 Corinthians chapter 12. So I'm praying for everyone. I do believe we are in the end times. This is why I'm doing this work, to show you where we are and how far along we are, and to also bring the spiritual message that in the end Jesus will come back. He will judge the earth. He will judge every man. He will judge everything. And will you be found worthy to be in the kingdom of heaven? I'm praying for everyone. If you haven't given your life to Jesus Christ, I recommend you do it now while you have a chance. So until next time, I hope everyone has a good week. I love you and I'm praying for you. God bless you. Go in peace, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.